Welcome to the 2021 Economic Preparation and Depression Channel. I'm your host, Tony. Thank you for joining me on this Veterans Day, November the 11th, 2021. Today, we're going to be looking at the inflation crisis that is gripping America. And we're also going to be talking about what the Federal Reserve is going to be doing, namely hiking interest rates and things of that nature. And so this is going to be paramount and very chaotic for a lot of cities, counties, and states and municipalities, because as interest rates rise, and sometime in the early next year and the beginning of next year, it's going to continue to rise probably for the next 2 to 3 years. And not only is that going to rise, but taxes are going to rise in terms of property taxes, gas taxes, any other kind of tax that the United States have is going to go up because municipal services are going to need to make up the revenue, as many people are, as the baby boomers are still in the midst of retiring in the next 2 to 3 to 4 years. Many of the baby boomers anyway. So, and they're going to have to make up that revenue shortfall. So we're going to be talking about that today. Welcome back. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate the support. And here we go. So we're into the first Fed rate hike, according to CNBC.com. It's expected as early as July, following the hot CPI data. Now, the CPI data came out showing that in October, prices rose up 6.2%. And now the Federal Reserve Bank is thinking about raising these interest rates as early as July. But now my sources tell me that it could be as early as March 2022. And that's what we're going to be looking at for the first full rate hike. Now, the market is pricing in these rate hikes all the way through next year. And now they're saying a second rate hike is expected in December. So next year, we can expect at least, at a minimum, 2 rate hikes. But I believe they're going to go with 3 rate hikes. So we're going to have 3 rate hikes next year, interest rate hikes. And this is going to make traders and those on the stock market more nervous. And like I said, this is not only dealing with that, but we have the fuel and housing costs, once again, boosted by October's inflation. This surprised most economists. Most economists were expecting 5.9%. We ended up at 6.2%. I'll tell you once again in October, the consumer price index. Now, this measures food, basket of goods like food, utilities, gas, leisurely expenditures, discretionary expenditures, things of that nature, travel, transportation. All of that was up sky high. And housing was the cheapest, the lowest inflation. That only rose about 3%. Housing prices. There's signs that that's cooling off on the market. But however, the prices are still very high. Everything is overbought, over leveraged, and this is what we're thinking. This is the crisis that we're facing. This is not surprising to a lot of my followers and a lot of the other people's followers, a lot of financial channels, but this is surprising to a lot of people who thought that they could ride this gravy train with the stock market and other things. But you have to remember, the Dow Jones and the S&P 500 is not the full picture of the economy. Manufacturing, production index, those that makes the economy, the day-to-day exchange of products and services for money. And so this is going to continue to dilute the dollar. Who would ever thought that heading into winter, gas is be an average of $3.50 a gallon for regular unleaded, higher in some states. In California, it's $4 almost a gallon for regular, $5 for some premium if you had to take high test. Who would have thought heading into these winter months here, as we go into December almost, that we would be facing a crisis of inflation at 6 to 7%. Shadowstats.com has real inflation right now at 13.5%. So, folks, we are facing the highest inflation since 1991. Some 30 odd years later, we're facing the highest inflation since then. This reminds many people of the 1970s with Paul Volcker, the U.S. Treasury Secretary. However, President Biden says, according to MarketWatch.com, we'll see, quote, lower prices as Biden says the passage of his agenda will tame inflation. He met in Baltimore. He was speaking at the Port of Baltimore there, and Dundalk Stockyards there. He was talking at the Port of Baltimore there, speaking there. There he is at the podium. He says that President Biden is trying to convince people that inflation will go away after he spends another $1.75 trillion that we don't have. That's according to a Republican senator, a quote from him there. But guys, this is exactly what I'm talking about, okay? We have spent not only on this health crisis, $6 trillion, but we've spent on the infrastructure crisis, another $2 or $3 trillion that he wants to add on top of this. That means more money printing, more quantitative easing, and we all know what that goes to. That goes to hyperinflation. So how is the average American going to absorb the cost of high rents? Because rents are rising everywhere across the country, from the Northeast to the Southeast to the Midwest to the Southwest. Rents are going up. Average price of a used car now is at $28,000. I'm talking about a car that's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old or more. And they're selling at a premium. That is not going down. Car parts. People are stealing Cadillac catalytic converters in Northern Virginia and DC area for the metals that they contain and selling them on the black market. People are just desperate now for any type of work. The hustle economy, as you said, many people are working Lyft and Amazon Prime jobs. You see them all over, or DoorDash, or Amazon Flex, all kind of these services. But it's just not enough to make ends meet, because you're wearing down. There's two things that are affecting this economy, even though we're moving into an automation economy, folks. Is you're either sacrificing your time, because you can work 2 or 3 hustle jobs and maintain your main job, but you're sacrificing your time, and that's wearing down your health, your body, okay? So be sure to take care of your body and your health as we experience this rising inflation and cost, because there's only so many hours that a human being can work during a day. 16 hours, there's 24 hours in a day. Then you need 8 hours for sleeping, food, and taking care of family business and all that kind of stuff. So just be very careful about that. Be very mindful about that. And also take care of your mental, spiritual health as well. So, but according to Biden, he's saying that we do have the $2 trillion, okay, to provide this infrastructure, But this is going to come at a big price. Taxes are going to go up as much as 5 to 10%. Property tax, utility tax, gas tax, the 911 tax, you name it. All of these taxes and fees are going up 5 to 10%, probably by President Biden's last year in office, 2023-2024 timeframe. And this is on top of the interest rate hike. We could see by the time the Federal Reserve is done hiking interest rates could be very well be at a 5% mark or higher. It could go up to 10%, 15, 20%, because of the way this economy is structured right now. And so we have all of these issues, all of these risks. Who wants to be in the stock market? Who wants to invest in companies that are zombie companies that are not producing anything for America? We need to get back to producing jobs, producing land, buying land, and producing our own food instead of this genetically engineered food. All of this is going to come at a cost, okay? And America right now is in a position now where we're going to just hyperinflate and continue to devalue our dollar and our currency. The only solution now is to either you divest from the system, cut back on your debt, buy hard tangible assets like land, houses, oil, water, emergency supplies that are going to be needed, and things of that nature. And if you have a used car, hang on to it, buy new spare parts, start getting those new tires, those new alternator starters, any little parts that you can, new oil change filters and sets, because those things are going to become very, very scarce after next year, because the way the supply chain crisis is. So be encouraged, my friends. I just want to touch base with you about this inflation and what it means for us rolling into. The first rate hike is coming March 2022, not in July. I believe it's coming earlier than that. And we're going to be okay, but we just have to be manageable, manage our money, and manage our time wisely. Be blessed. I'll talk to you very soon. Enjoy your holiday, and I'll see you very soon.